Hello everyone, today is a very special episode of Energy Inside Motion because we're doing a collaboration with the founders of Creative Gen UK. So if you'd like to just give a brief introduction, so your name and just like what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Sam Rasmin, co-founder of Creative Generation UK. Been working in the West Midlands music space for like the last 10 years now. Everything from running the platform through to music PR. And yeah, I run it alongside Lewis, my business partner.
Yeah, so I'm Lewis James, also the second co-founder of Creative Gen UK. Predominantly, I'm kind of in the marketing space, which is where I get that kind of blend with CGuk and bringing creative and music together. But I also do social media marketing. I have my own business on the side and also do football refereeing.
So what actually inspired you to create the brand Creative Gen UK?
It's an interesting one, man. So we launched it back in 2016. At the time, I'd finished my A-levels. I'd just started an apprenticeship as an electrician, and quickly realised I was like, this ain't for life. I can't be in construction forever. There was too much creativity there and needed an outlet for it. And Lewis had actually started his own blog. Me and Lewis grew up together and good friends for a long time before that, and always had similar interest in music and whatnot. And Lewis had launched his own platform called Music Made Mad. And he kind of said to me, I was like, yo, what are you doing? What is that? And he was like, I'm just writing articles and covering latest releases and stuff that he was interested in. And I kind of took it on myself to start something similar, but more focused on UK music. And then after about 3 or 4 months of running those platforms side by side and both having our own outlets and not really sort of like building a sort of memorable brand with either of them, we decided that let's bring it together and launch Creative Gen. And yeah, that's where the story started, man. But I guess Lewis can probably explain a little bit more about like his motives for starting the blog in the first place. But for me, it was just, I knew I wanted to get into a creative space and a creative field. I love music from a long time. Grew up listening to like a wide range of different sounds, and then eventually fell in love with rap, hip hop and grime. And that was kind of my passion, and just wanted an outlet and an opportunity to do something different, because school don't teach you that the creative lane is a path. And I didn't go to uni and get a degree in anything creative. So it was more just like starting from grassroots and doing it DIY.
So my introduction into like creative writing, I'm a Birmingham City fan, and I used to go to the football with my dad. And like whenever the game would finish, because I was studying like English language at school and stuff, he'd be like getting on to me about writing like match reports for the games. And then that kind of, when I started, my passion for music and just enjoying different sounds, that kind of just transpired into music. So it actually did start from football, to be fair. Wouldn't say I enjoyed it as much at first, but you kind of get into it. And then I started studying media and digital marketing at school and college. So yeah, that was kind of my introduction.
So in terms of the music industry, what is it about the music industry and just about music in general that makes you feel so inspired?
Boy, that's a tough question, man. I think it was more the access to it. Like I had so much opinions about different sounds and different music and music videos and the way they were directed, and I was just like, got them down onto paper or started putting them into articles, and it was more of that. It just that fed something. And then I started, like, the more we did it, I think I started to realize that like this is actually mad beneficial for up and coming artists and spotlighting producers and the people behind the scenes. And that was kind of our motivation, really, for me anyway. It was more, let's create a platform to put on for people. And a lot of those artists were from the West Midlands. They were within reach, they were accessible. We started connecting with them and supporting them. And yeah, I guess we kind of started like as the blog era had kind of died in music. Like there wasn't really a huge amount of like outlets. You had like Hot New Hip Hop and places like that, but in the UK, like GRM were very heavily focused on your music videos and your freestyles, and there wasn't really a journalistic like article led platform, especially in the West Midlands. And yeah, it was just more about creating that space for that. For me, it was a lot of like spotlighting up and coming talents and ended up making a lot of friends who were producers and videographers, and I was like, nah, they need a spotlight too, because without them, the artist doesn't have the beat to spit on or the music video to drop in the first place.
I think for me, the main passion or the inspiration probably comes through social media and my love and passion for that. Just seeing from when we did start in 2016 to what people are doing now in 2026 is just crazy. I think when we started, was there even Twitter?
Yeah,
just the kind of early days. So the kind of marketing behind people's campaigns. Yeah, oh yeah, no, TikTok. So, and even Instagram was probably used a little bit differently back then. So I think my kind of love and passion for marketing transpired into music. And I used to go to a lot of shows. Been going to shows since I've been like 16. So I was always like coming off the back of shows, writing for them as well. I'd say the marketing side and how people are putting their music out there, even like Sam was saying with producers, beat makers, anything like that. I think one thing we was trying to do was spotlight the light on them, because they don't always get the spotlight as they should. Obviously you've got artists made facing in front of camera, but we wanted to kind of showcase there is people behind the scenes that do things and keep everything pushing. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably my inspiration.
It's a nice it's a nice ethos of having someone who's more focused on the brand building and the social side of it, and then someone who's more sort of like tapped into up and coming talent and underground sounds, and yeah, merging those two worlds and creating a platform. It's kind of like a really strong recipe for us, man. Some of this, led everything that we've done.
So obviously journalism is a big part of what you do. How do you conduct your journalism? And do you think about the perception of the viewer, or do you sort of like, it's just authentic, like how you feel about it?
For me, it's about creating moments, man. I think that you want to create things that like I went to an exhibition in London a couple of months ago, and it was for 20 years of the Face magazine. And I was going through this exhibition, and it was just a photography exhibition, and they were just showcasing their cover stories. And I was like, it's about creating moments. Like, that's what we do it for. Like, there's so many cover stories or photos that are iconic in UK music and UK culture, and you forget that they come from an editorial journalistic background. Like, they were for something, and that's what it is for me. I think it's about creating moments, man. Where you want to be able to sort of give artists an opportunity to 10 years time, they can look back and go, I did that cover story with Creative Gen. And that's the kind of impact we want to have, man. Okay. 100%.
To be fair, I think that's kind of where me and Sam blend very well. I think Sam's very authentic. Things he puts out there, it's raw, it's honest. And he'll kind of come to me with content, and I'll just kind of polish things up. I think that's where it works perfectly, because you do need that. You know, not everything is about branding and stuff. You do need that authentic side, and plus that's what people connect with. Especially nowadays, you know, we're in a place where things are very polished up. So I think the times when you can be authentic, and especially in our content on the website, very authentic reviews and pieces we put out there. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just to add to that as well, we're in an era of like clickbait and rage bait. When I say create moments, I don't mean the clickbait, rage bait moments. I mean the authentic moments. We're not out here. Yeah, like when you go through the platform, you'll see that we're not just out here dropping bait posters to try and rile up the net. It's more of a case of like, let's just create moments that artists can take away. The people that really care about the craft, they can come to CG and find a piece that they're interested in, or find an artist that they're passionate about, or discover a new artist. Like, that's what we're trying to do.
So when you do a cover story, obviously you blend together so many different aspects. So you have like photography, and then obviously there's actually like the informative piece behind it. How do you sort of like blend those together and make it so effective?
Yeah, I mean, for me to make the cover story effective, it's got to blend multiple different parts of the person that we're spotlighting. So standout one for me is the one that we did with 1997. This was at a time where he's retired, apparently. I keep seeing him pop up everywhere, but he's retired. And there's so many different layers to 1997 as a person. And he'd kind of achieved so much in music, and it was like, let's tell that story. Like, Dev's the person, Devontae, the dad, the son, brother, whatever. 1997, the artist. Like, there was multiple different layers, and the piece was called Breaking Kayfabe with Dev with 1997, and it was more of a case of yeah, let's show that, and let's take off the mask and reveal the different sides to him. So yeah, it's about authentic storytelling, and there being a flow that you can follow when you're tapping into that piece. But the hook is the cover piece, and that first 10 seconds that you read on the website, it's got to hook people in, and then they can follow the story.
So when you work with different artists, what is it that you look for in an artist for them to be featured and invited onto your platform?
It's the way they present themselves. Like for me, it's the first entry point is either your socials or how you arrive in my inbox. I want it packaged professionally together, like you know what you want to achieve, what you want to get from this collaboration, and what you want to get from this partnership. The music has got to be great. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for when artists are coming to me. Like, try and move the needle. Like, try and do something with your sound or your art that is a little bit different and is going to catch people's attention. But the most important thing for me is the entry point to the artist. So like, if I'm going on your socials, it should be a CV. I should be able to follow a journey or follow a path or see the best bits of your artistry. And then when you're landing in my inbox, tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me press shots, give me promo clips, tell me the details of everything you want included in the piece. So yeah, I think that's for me, like, been probably like one of the biggest struggles is getting artists to arrive in the inbox correctly. And part of the reason why I pivoted into music PR for a while, just making sure that up and coming talent from the city was showing up properly. So yeah, that's it for me. That's what I'm looking for. I think
100%. I think
similar type.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. I think obviously I keep touching on the marketing side of things. If I look at how I'd brand the products, I kind of want the same back, similar to what Sam was saying. And I think it just gives you an element of I can actually take you a bit more serious. Coming into the inbox with, like, I don't know, you're kind of chatting to a friend, there's not really much substance behind it. For us to put that out creatively, it's like, where do we go with that?
We've got to buy into it.
Yeah, 100%.
You build
100%.
brands, right? And like, whether you're an up and coming artist or whether you're an established artist, like, you're building a brand, like, and that might feel weird being the person that is creating the music and whatnot, but you've got to look at yourself as a brand and how would a brand show up in this scenario, and they're not just popping up being like, yo bro, any chance you can cover this on the site. It's tell me about yourself, tell me where you're from, tell me what you're releasing, tell me when it's coming out, tell me who you've been working with. Give me something to buy into. It's the same across the board, like whether you're buying a drink from the shop or whether you're supporting an artist, like I've got to gravitate towards something
I think
to invest, right?
I think we like the artist's like social media page. They should view it sort of like a catalogue. There's like of stuff that people are going to come back to. And I think like something with social media, like it wants people to keep pumping out content. And while quantity's good, it's good to have like a quality actual catalogue that, and as well, something that I've learned is like, when you look at an artist's page, you'll be able to tell instantly like how seriously they're actually taking it.
100%.
Because you'll be able to grasp their personality, the catalogue of music, it'll all just be there. They'll have something like that stands out distinctively.
100%. Like a prime example of that is MC from Nottingham, Window Kid. He's in the content creation world now and doing amazing things, and yeah, like doing crazy views, but like it's authentic. Like he gave something to buy into. He started out as a grime MC on radio, just popping up on sets the same way most of these men from Brum are doing, and now he's doing 6 figures on every YouTube video he drops, still popping up at raves and shutting down shows, but he's give us personality, he's give us charisma, he's give us something to buy into. And that's what it is. I think like you can probably attest to that from a social media point of view. Like, how are you showing up? Like, are you showing up? Do you take this seriously? Like you said, it's got to be, it's got to have impact, man, for real.
I did have a specific question for you as well. So obviously you specialise in marketing. What are some of the main things that go into your authentic and unique style of marketing? Like, what makes you so authentic with your marketing?
One thing I'd say now, just to kind of touch on that, when it comes to marketing nowadays, there's a lot of people out there doing it, should we say. And I think the one thing that can kind of give you a creative edge as such is blending that professional type of branding, making something sellable. So it's not just about everything looking clean, professional. It's like we was touching on with the authenticity. How are you going to connect to the people? The main question when I look at anything is, what would make someone listen to that track, what would make someone want to go and watch an interview of that person. It's connecting the dots. We're in a day and age now where phones are everywhere. You can take videos, you can take pictures, but what's the selling point? What is getting them from A to B? Which is, I think, probably where we kind of fall in, because it's not, people don't always do it. They'll put content out there, and we've touched on it loads of times, but what's the purpose? What's the meaning behind it as such? So I think that's definitely a unique point of where I try to come from, it to blend both sides of that, and still keep things authentic as well.
Someone asked me the other day, was like, how do you know if your platform's working, and like, where do you want your platform to be in like 5 years' time, and how will you have know it's worked? But I said to him, is like, I think it's the energy. I think you can feel the energy and the impact of if something's working or not. If you're truly honest with yourself, if you go out and like everyone's coming up to you, they know about it. People understand your system. People are happy to like buy into it, and I think something scaled over time. Like you know in your like gut if it's working.
100%, man. I think we both felt that with Creative Gen. It's 10 years this year. We started back in 2016. The platform and the brand now, it's not a million miles away from what it was back in 2016, but there's definitely more of an identity now than there ever has been. I think over the last sort of 3 years, probably. Like last 3 or 4 years, I feel like we've really built a clear like brand identity, brand vision. People can buy into it. They know what they're going to get from CG. But there's 7 years before that we're not going to hide any of that. Like we're not going to go away, and that removes that layer of authenticity, like you said. But you got to follow that story. People can go back to the archive and find it if they want, but what matters now is like new people connecting with the audience. Like it's bigger than it was 7 years ago, 10 years ago. It's about like building a clear vision and identity, and sticking to that formula as well. And like you say, like once you've got it cracked, you know you've got it, man. I think you've probably had a similar journey with Social Stamp as well, innit, where like you've found a lane. For yourself.
I think obviously relating it back to CG, it's crazy because me and Sam have had loads of conversations, and we're coming up to our 10th anniversary this year, and it almost feels like we've just started. All them years is experience and learning certain things to do, how you're going to move your budget, how are you looking at things, what do you actually want to put out there. And I think that's one clear thing we're definitely clear on now, which is strange because it's, we're 10 years in, but it does feel like we have a lot of things planned this year for that 10-year anniversary, and I feel like it almost feels like the birth of CG again, which is crazy because we've been doing it 10 years now. But as any creative out there will know, the best thing you can do is put something out there, then learn from it, just rather than not actually doing anything and then having regrets later on, like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. It's been a beautiful 10-year journey.
Yeah, man. Takes 10 years to create overnight success, boy. It doesn't just come like that. Like it takes a long time to build, bro. But when it clicks, it will go.
Something that I've learned, I think, intention, actually like showing your process as well. Something that like I hear a lot is like, I think showing your process is something that it makes you feel real to people. When people see your process. And obviously, you don't have to show like every loss. You don't want people to like get the wrong impression. But I think having people actually come on like an actual journey with you, because people can see and feel your growth, and that's what people are going to invest in the most. And I think as well, definitely pivoting. Like you could plan a load of different things, and then show people something you're doing spontaneously that's going to like scale it. I think. So.
I was having an interesting conversation with Mayday the other day, MC from Birmingham, and he was talking about the moment that he created with Canva. And really interesting, he had a whole project lined up around the time he was dropping that Canva lyric, and he just scrapped the plan and was just like, I know I've got to pivot here because this has got momentum, I've got to run with it. And it's knowing when to do that, but it's also having that balance of like not just pivoting for the sake of pivoting. If you haven't seen the results you want after 1 or 2 tries, you're not just going to change direction, like stick with it for a bit. Do you know what I mean? But when something is building momentum, like know when to, okay, cool, that can wait. I think we've kind of landed on that. Like we it wasn't intentional to start doing loads of cover stories. Opportunities started presenting themselves, and we kind of ripped up the content formula last year, and we were just like, nah, let's, like, this is working, this is connecting, people are buying into this, let's run with it. Knowing when to pivot, but also like not just pivoting because you haven't seen the results you want after 1 or 2 tries. Like it's gotta be, yeah, you've got to follow the journey and trust the process. But like you say, if something is gaining traction, and like with social now, you're looking at the analytics, you're looking at the data, you're looking at the SEO. If someone's clicking, be open to switching and running with it.
So, what would you say is the biggest obstacle that you faced as a company, and how did you overcome that obstacle?
Ooh, I know why he's laughing instantly. I'll speak on the first one. We have had a few, but I'll speak on the first one, and Sam can continue. What year was it?
Well, it was like
Very start 2016, 17?
12 months into it.
Yeah. So we was less than 12 months into it, and we was looking at actually registering the business. When we come across doing that and looking into things, we'd actually realised there was another company with a similar name. So we originally started as CGM, Creative Generation Media. And when we actually looked into registering under that name, there was another business. Was it CGM?
Yeah, it's cloud generated music.
Slightly different, but because we wanted to use CGM, we couldn't have obviously moved forward with that. And I remember at the time we'd only been going for a year, but it felt like we'd put quite a lot into it already. And it was like, like at this point, we don't have the knowledge that we do now. So it was like, kind of almost felt like we can't move forward, like what we actually supposed to do. And to be fair, I'm not too, how did we pivot from that?
I think, yeah, we were young and naive, bro. Like, we were fresh into like first jobs, spending whatever money we had left from our pay packet at the end of the month and putting it into the website, paying graphic designers and photographers and stuff like that. And we've discovered this new business with a very similar logo, a very similar name. We were like, man, what do you do? But in hindsight now, like, it was the best thing that happened to us, because we pivoted, and like, Creative Generation Media then became Creative Generation UK. The branding was far sleeker, it was far cleaner. We sort of opened ourselves up to like documenting culture as opposed to just isolated into music. The brand name is very like universal, and it can live in multiple different spaces. Like, Creative Generation UK doesn't shout music unless you know the brand. So like, if we wanted to pivot into like fashion or lifestyle or food or whatever it is, like, it kind of left us open to sort of tap into those spaces as well. But yeah, biggest challenge was being like, discovering this other page that was very similar. And like, who knows, like, I ain't gonna sit here and say that they copied the logo or they copied us or they took it or whatever, because it was 10 years ago, and I still don't know who it was to this day. We just found it and we were like, right, it's time to rebrand. But we were kind of sat there, we were like, do we just stop? Like, it's not like, we were only 12 months in, like, do we just call it a day? And then we both quickly realised, we were like, nah, like, we're not doing that. But a challenge that we turned into a positive and used it as an opportunity to rebrand. But there's been a lot of challenges along the way, man. Like,
That was just the earliest one, wasn't it?
yeah, I think like down to like lifestyles, like Lewis was, like you were promoting and very busy doing refereeing, had a lot of responsibilities. I was working with a lot of different artists, so like my time was split between work, relationships, the platform, and then working with up and coming talent. So we were both kind of spread very thin across multiple different things, and navigating that and knowing when I've got to take the reins and when Lewis is going to pick it up and take leadership with it. And now we've kind of, there was no routine or system in place, whereas now we have a clear like system, like editorially, I run the platform, socially, analytically, Lewis runs it, and then everything that falls in between those two worlds, we make decisions together. We found that formula and that system of way of operating, but it took a long time to get there, man. Like, a lot of time of like Lewis being down and out, me being down and out, and both just kind of not having that clear identity and vision of what we're doing the brand for, like what we're running the platform for. So yeah, I think that's just like operationally challenges, but like biggest business challenge was definitely the logo and the name, and that burnt at the time, man. 100%.
I've done that as well. I don't know if you've experienced this yourself, but we also put a lot of funding into video series we was doing. And at the time, because of certain things that just happened behind the scenes, we couldn't actually put certain episodes out.
Okay.
So I think sometimes, you know, you may have had that yourself where you put so much creatively into something, what probably a lot of creatives out there have done, and you realise like, oh, you know, we can't actually put this out for whatever reason. And I think the main message or undertone I'd like to take from that is keep going. Just pivot everything. There's been a lot of points in this conversation we've had that I feel like I've pointed back to each other, and with that one, just pivot. Just change up what you've got to do. Don't get too disheartened or too defeated from it.
And learn the lesson from it, man. Like if something's gone wrong, like interrogate it, work out why it went wrong, because you're never going to get it right the next time.
It's true, like everything's data.
Yeah.
Like literally everything. Like if you're not able to get what you want out of an interaction, it's probably your communication skills.
100%.
If you're not able to get engagement from people, then it's clearly a content issue or a branding issue. So I think like everything's just problem solving, and it's just being honest with yourself. But yeah, I think in terms of like working really hard on something and not getting put out, I think as long as like it's been a big value exchange for both people, and there's actually been like an energy and an information that's came from that, that's like gave something to you, then I think there can also be more from that than, obviously you get a lot of satisfaction from releasing it and benefit, but there can also be a lot of good that comes from just the process itself.
100%, man. Yeah, like the creative process it's beautiful, man, because like it will change, and it's different for everybody. Everybody has their different ways of approaching creativity or whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's an artist, whether it's someone running a platform, whether it's producer, videographer. Like, yeah, like find your process and learn the lessons from it, tweak it, fine tune it. Like always find a way to do something better and never stop learning. Like I think that's one thing that I've took away from this is like I've gone on a whole like very unorthodox creative journey and process, and the one thing that I've never allowed myself to do is feel like I've achieved everything I'm supposed to achieve. Like I might feel like I've hit a milestone, but it's quite toxic really. Like you never really celebrate your wins because you're always thinking, okay, I've hit this milestone now, I've got it, what do I want next? Like where do I go next? And take time to appreciate the wins and the things that you achieve, but like yeah, like what do you want to achieve next? What's the next layer to it? What's the next step? And knowing when to stop and take a moment for yourself, but
I think there's
stay learning.
I think there's a power in having that balance of having the attitude of a newcomer, but at the same time having like the knowledge of who you actually are and your power at the same time.
Yeah, and knowing your value. I think that's something that we've both kind of learned. Lewis probably like taking clients on from early days and knowing when to up the price and what's worth what. And same with me, like I did a lot of stuff for free in the early days and didn't really ask for anything from it and was just trying to buy into someone else's vision just because I wanted to learn. I don't regret any of that, but now I've reached a point where I know my worth and I know my value, and I've been able to get myself to a position where this is my career and a creative world for my career when that would look very different 5 years ago. So like understanding the value that you have, but yeah, I think knowing when to find that line of like always wanting to learn and achieve new things, but knowing what's worth your time.
The one thing I'd say on that is student of the game, forever a student of the game. No matter how far you get in something, keep treating it like it's like when it goes back to football, like 0-0. You know, if like you 4-0 up, the manager will be saying still 0-0. Keep that mentality. That's definitely one thing I'd say.
I think being honest when you know something's not working as well.
Yeah.
Like, because there's sometimes like you can want to keep going and going and going, but like if you know that like it's not going to work.
We had this conversation literally the other week. Like I recently moved to Amsterdam, so like I've been long distance for the last like 5 weeks or so. But we were chatting about our creative process and we were coming up with ideas to like activate around like the 10-year anniversary. And we'd come up with what we thought was a solid plan, but like we started unpacking it and really like getting into the finer details of it and how it was going to come to life. And we ripped it up and we were just like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
And it's no, like, it's the first time we've done it in 10 years where like we've put so much energy and time into building a plan and a way of like the way that we wanted to execute it. And we sat there and we looked at me, we were like, what are we doing, bro? Like, is this how we want to do it? And we were just like, nah. And we just went back to the drawing board and we knew that like something just didn't sit right with us. And it's knowing, and instead of just being like, oh, we've already spent hours planning it and we've already spoke to this person about providing this service, and we just said, we ain't committed to anything. Like, let's go back to the drawing board. And now the plans look very different, but way stronger. And they're going to have way more impact than if we would have stuck with the original plan where we were kind of compromising on what I wanted to do and what Lewis wanted to do and what we could afford to do and all the rest of it. So yeah, I think like knowing when to go back to the drawing board is important, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for creatives who are coming up and trying to learn the business aspect of the creative industry?
Go and ask questions, man. Put yourselves in the rooms where, like, a lot of the time you'll see people online that are attending events or popping up at events and doing different things. Like, go and ask questions. Like, I'm still doing it now. Like, I did it with Alfie from our turn earlier. I was just like, yo, I wanted to know what he was into and what he's interested in and what he's working on. And yeah, like, just go and be in the rooms, and the people that you look up to, like, reach out to them. Like, more time they're normal people just like you. One thing that I've kind of realized as well is that, like, someone's title or position doesn't mean that they're not a human and you're not going to connect on some level. Like, just treat people like they're human, show them respect and want to learn from them. I think for us, like, we were DIY, we're self-taught with everything that we've done. Like, I haven't studied anything creative at all. I just put myself in the room and just showed people that I wanted to work, and it was that work ethic and work rate that people brought into, you know. Like, they saw this platform pop up from nowhere and we were dropping content every single day, and they saw the work ethic and the work rate that I was putting in, and they showed me that respect just off the back of that. So work hard and go and ask all the questions that you need to ask, man. Like, there's no question too stupid, and you're gonna get an insightful conversation from that. If you care about the conversation you're having, you're gonna take gems away, and then go and action it. Like, be a sponge, and then go and try new things. And if it don't work, try again, and keep trying different ways. Like, be relentless and consistent with it. But yeah, I think work ethic. Don't be afraid to ask the questions, and don't be afraid to put an idea out into the world, and keep learning. Always stay learning.
No, I agree with that, to be fair.
I think as well, there's a power when you first come into it. This is for me anyways, like, teach yourself a valuable skill that, like, a lot of people will not be that clued up on. And every person you meet, give them that value.
Yeah, value exchange every single time.
Because like I was really knowledgeable about marketing, digital marketing and stuff. So like, I've been meeting different people, and something that I learned as well is that, you know, you think someone knows everything, as you say, because of like a title or position, but actually they want to know just as much from you as you want to know from them. But it's just having that, you know, that self-confidence to like establish the value early in the conversation and just put your foot down and make sure that your presence and your energy indicates like different skills, and telling them that.
Yeah, 100%. The value exchanging, that's just life. Like, like everything is, not everything is transactional because it shouldn't be, but like to some degree, like there's a transaction with everything that we do. And for me, it was like, okay, we're writing articles. The artist benefits from that because they've got content to share. But then when they're also putting in funding applications, they can use our articles to go and get funding. So it's about like thinking with the bigger picture and spotting, like you say, spotting that gap. For us, it was, there's no publication, nothing's getting documented, there's nothing going into an archive where it can exist on the web. And we kind of filled that gap and filled that void. And we had artists coming to us saying, yo, I got X amount of funding because I had your articles to share and your publication to share. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, bro. I think the value exchange is find that value exchange and keep adding to that.
The reason why I think it's not something that people think about a lot is because you come into the industry and you get so blinded by all of the actual like different things that you see, and like you don't necessarily think about that straight away. You want to just jump straight into it, and you want to be like, oh, how is this going to help my career? But when you're approaching a person who's already like gone through that process, well, you think you might have the best intentions in the world, you're the nicest person. They understand that being nice, and obviously like you want to be a good person or whatever, but at the end of the day, they want to see like your value, how you impact, because they can work with whoever they want because they've already put themselves in that position and sacrificed.
Some people just want to get to business, innit?
Yeah.
I think you probably know about that more so than me, but it's like, spot it early, show your value, show your worth, and just get it done, man.
I think we've kind of done that as well. When it comes back to music, one thing we noticed from very early on is platforms will kind of put out and push UK and American kind of content, but it's in very dribs and drabs. So one thing we wanted to do was looking at the kind of competition, was look at it and think, okay, how can we blend into that? How can we be different? And that's where I think having a good team as well. Don't think that you can do everything by yourself, because one thing that we'd seen with that is, right, we can hope there's two of us, we can use that power as and putting both sides of content out there, not just focusing on one thing, showing something different, and building up an audience for that, because there may be people on these other platforms that have got a real taste for American or overseas kind of culture, but they're not getting enough. So what's gonna keep them coming back?
Okay. So where do you want to take Creative Gen UK in the upcoming years? Like what's the vision for it? And I want to know is what drives that vision as well.
What drives what I say today will be very different in 12 months time. Like the goalposts always move, bro. Like, and that's one thing that I never want to change about myself. Like the vision has to keep evolving. Like if I'm still doing the same thing in 2 years time and I've just got the same goal, I haven't worked hard enough. That's just my opinion. But you've got to, what drives Creative Gen has got to be the passion for music and for art and for content. It's got to be executed in a way that's the consumer can take something and the artist can gain something. And that's what that's for me has got to be the focus point. But it comes back to what I said earlier, man, like creating moments. I think we want to go down a more editorial route. We want to be doing more cover stories. We want to be at the best concerts. We want to be at the best festivals. We want to be sitting down and making cultural moments with artists and creatives. And yeah, just more of that, like just more content, more visibility, more exposure. And that, like the goals will change. No doubt in 6 months' time. And like I say, at the moment, the clear vision is executing this 10-year anniversary, making sure that we shout about the things we've done over the past 10 years, but also lay the foundations for the next 10, you know?
Couldn't have put it any better. I think that's the main thing at the moment, is solidifying and showcasing what we already have done, but also keeping that hunger and energy within us for the next 10 years. Because if you don't have that within yourself, you're done, really. But yeah, I think the drive and the passion, even just within ourselves and our friendship, I think just seeing what one another does and kind of pushing each other on is something we've definitely found, like when we originally started. So I think just keeping that up. And another thing that we like to do is showcase other creatives. From us being and looking at a creative standpoint from the outside, not being an artist or someone that's always in front of camera, we also understand how important that whole process is, and we want to keep pushing that. Something that definitely drives us.
Okay, thanks. Something that I wanted to ask is, how do you determine the success of a piece of work that you put out? Like, so when you release a piece of work, what indicators do you have to?
Yeah, there's a lot of different indicators that sort of give you a sort of benchmark for success, you know. There's two ways of looking at it for me. One indicator being the views and the actual data, and yeah, like the numbers of engagement, likes, comments, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. And then there's a indicator in terms of cultural impact and the conversation that you're creating. So we did a piece earlier this year about why are artists skipping Birmingham on their tours? Like, why aren't as many major international talents coming and doing shows in Birmingham? And it created a really interesting conversation across multiple different platforms. We had people engaging on Twitter, we had people engaging on Instagram, and the one that surprised us the most was it created a really interesting conversation on LinkedIn. It had people that were behind the scenes and have been working in this space and the event space for years in the West Midlands, and they could give genuine input as to why this is happening. And for us, like, that was more valuable, and creating that conversation and being the brand that sparked that conversation was far more valuable than any amount of likes or comments or shares that we could have got on the Instagram post, because it had cultural impact. It had like an impact amongst the community of people that are feeding that same thing. But then we've done other pieces where we did like a wireless lineup got leaked and we posted it and the SEO went crazy. Like the Google search was nuts. Like my phone was pinging for like 3 days straight of just people finding this article on Google. And that was an indicator of success. But then you've got the other indicator of like, you've created a real important conversation. So for me, it's those two things. And if the content and the art and the work that we put out hits either of them, we've done our job.
Definitely the same for me. I think for me, I've got like a marketing shoulder and then just myself kind of shoulder. And I think if I put my marketing head on, something that I would measure success from is not just the likes or the reaction from something, but like Sam touched upon, it's actually, I prefer comments. You know, engagement, people actually, and not just an emoji type of comment, someone actually questioning or adding their own opinion. I think the one thing that I like to see when people engage with Creative Generation is people actually giving their opinion back to what we were saying, whether that's negative or not. There's 2 ways you could look at it. You could look at it like, oh, you know, you don't want any kind of negative comments, but everyone has different opinions. And for me, that's something that I love seeing, especially as a marketer, as something that actually resonates with someone that much, that we're in such a fast-paced generation. If someone actually stops, takes time out of their day to comment, we've clearly done something.
So something that I've always considered with marketing as well is like, I try to like simplify it. I think making people feel less pain and solving their problems, like seeing what people's pain points are, of like, if you think about a person's life and different people's lives, like what is actually like what's actually like bothering them, like what's actually affecting them. And I think if you're able to like have your own unique sort of insight on that from things you can showcase, I think that's the perfect way that you can sort of create an effective, you know.
Yeah, you've got to build an ecosystem, and there's got to be a need for what you're doing, right? And if there's no real need for it, you just kind of just shouting into the void and just trying to build something that you believe in. There's got to be multiple reasons as to why you do something or why you run a brand or whatever it is. There's got to be a clear vision and what's the why. Like the why is always the most important in any conversation you have. Like, why have you done that? Why do you want to do that? My mum used to go crazy at me growing up. She was like, why do you always ask me why we're doing this or why we're going to that place? And I'm like, because it's important, you know. Like, I'm looking back now and I realize I'm like, why do we run Creative Gen? It's because we care about music and art and making sure that it's seen and creating the important conversations. Like there's a reason why we do something. And as soon as if you lose sight of that or you don't have it, like you say, just kind of screaming into the void of just hoping that people take notice of this thing that you care about.
Okay. So I wanted to ask about your collaboration with City Splash Festival. How did that come about? What was the creative process like behind that?
So yeah, we'd established a relationship with City Splash. Their PR company, the PR agency that they were working with, were sending us announcements about the lineup and saying, can you cover this news on the platform? So we started doing that. We were dropping news articles about the artists that were being announced and stuff like that, and we ended up building a rapport with the PR officer there, and they ended up saying like, "Oh, come to the event. Like, we'd love you to come and cover the event and do a review on the site and get some social content and whatever." And we went down to 2 festivals, the one in Brockwell Park and then the first one that they did at Drumsheds, so the winter edition, and they did it as an indoor festival. We went down to that one. And then 3rd time round, they basically said like, yeah, we'd love you to interview Ben Ryan, the founder of City Splash. And yeah, they basically just said, I said like, well, that kind of feeds into something we've done at Creative Gen for a long time, was like spotlighting the people behind the scenes. So we had a series called Paying Homage, and Paying Homage is purely focused on spotlighting creatives that are behind the camera or behind the scenes and aren't front facing, and giving them a place to be recognized and appreciated. And it was the first like editorial cover piece that we did. We did an editorial photo shoot. We brought Ben down to the studios in London. We did like a full shoot with full creative direction, and then we did an interview with him, and we turned it into a full cover piece. And then we went on to do a ticket giveaway with the festival, and then the social content and online coverage of the actual festival itself. But it came from establishing a relationship. So someone just sending something for news coverage, and then me and Lewis sitting down in our meetings and going, I think there's more of a partnership angle we can go here than just being a news outlet for them. And we basically built that bridge and started like building together a full package of like what that feature can look like beyond just going to the festival and covering the festival. It was like, okay, let's do an editorial news piece, let's do social content, let's do a ticket giveaway. And we presented this whole package to them. And yeah, we kind of just built something off an initial email into the inbox, man.
Okay. Perfect, man.
But yeah, I think that's like something that we can take away from everything that we do. I think like Lewis, we kind of like feed into each other in the sense of like, Lewis will bring an idea and he'll be like, I want to do this, this and this, and I want to execute it this way. And then my operational brain will kick in and I'll be like, okay, well, this is how we do it. And we might come up against an obstacle with this one. And then we'll flesh it out between us, and we'll put together like a full plan of action of like how we want to execute the project. And then by the time we have the conversation with the person we're pitching to, or the brand that we want to work with, or the festival we want to connect with, we've already kind of run through the obstacles that we're going to come into, and just makes the whole process smooth, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, just put an idea out there and bring it to life, basically.
Action kills fear.
Yeah, man, facts. Action kills fear for real.
So yeah, if you'd like to just give the people your social media handles.
Yeah, so my personal Instagram is @SJ Rasmin, so that's @SJRASMIN, and then Creative Gen is @Creative Gen UK, so that's Creative GEN UK.
Yeah, my personal socials are lmj.uk, but with Creative Gen you can find us on LinkedIn, Spotify, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much everything. And yeah, keep tuned.
Plug social stamp as well, bro.
We're not doing no shameless plugs on here. We keep it to Creative Gen. But you know, if you see our own personals, you'll see that in there anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So this has been another episode of Energy Inside Motion. Thank you for watching.